Listen. The desert breathes secrets. Every grain of sand holds a story, waiting to be uncovered. For thousands of years, Egypt has whispered to those who dare to listen. Beneath the blazing sun and endless blue sky, the past is not just buried here. It's alive, pulsing beneath your feet. It calls out from the shadows of colossal statues and the darkness of forgotten tombs. This land guards its secrets with a silent, stony patience. What really happened here, along the fertile banks of the Nile? How did a civilization rise from the dust to build monuments that defy our modern understanding? These aren't just old stories carved in stone. They are puzzles, daring us to solve them. I've spent years listening to those whispers, chasing the mysteries hidden in the sand. Every step on Egyptian soil feels electric, like walking through the pages of a history book that's still being written. We think we know so much, but the truth is, we've barely scratched the surface. The mysteries of the pharaohs, their golden treasures, and their beliefs about life, death, and the cosmos are as deep and vast as the Sahara itself. So, buckle up. We're about to go on an expedition, not just across the desert, but back in time. Let's get started. Let's talk about the big one, the main event, the Great Pyramid of Giza. You can see it from space. A man-made mountain of stone that has stood for over 4,500 years. It was built for the pharaoh Khufu. But here's the thing that keeps me up at night. How did they do it? We're talking about more than 2 million stone blocks, some weighing as much as 80 tons. That's the equivalent of a dozen elephants. They didn't just pile them up. They were cut, transported, fitted together with precision that would challenge our best laser-guided equipment today. Conventional wisdom says ramps, sleds, a whole lot of manpower. But the details are fuzzy and the theories are full of holes. What kind of ramp could reach the top of a 481-foot structure without being miles long and bigger than the pyramid itself? The mystery deepens when you go inside. The pyramid contains a complex network of passages and chambers. The king's chamber, the queen's chamber, the queen's chamber, the awe-inspiring grand gallery. In 2017, scanned pyramids used advanced particle physics to peer inside the stone. They detected a massive, previously unknown void, a hidden chamber at least 100 feet long, sitting right above the grand gallery. What is it? A structural feature? A secret burial chamber? A storeroom for Khufu's true treasure? Nobody knows. The discovery sent shockwaves through the archaeological community. Even after centuries of exploration, the Great Pyramid still holds its secrets close. A stark reminder, a structure of immense complexity, built by minds far more advanced than we give them credit for. The quest to understand how and why it was built is one of the greatest detective stories in human history. Not far from the pyramid stands another colossal mystery carved from a single ridge of limestone, the Great Sphinx. With the body of a lion and the head of a man, it has stared out across the desert for millennia, its expression unreadable, its purpose debated. For centuries it was buried up to its neck in sand, a silent head in a sea of dunes. We believe the face belongs to the pharaoh Khafre, Khufu's son, making it a contemporary of the Giza pyramids. But that's just a theory. There are no inscriptions on the Sphinx itself to tell us who built it, or more importantly, why. The first major puzzle is its age. Most Egyptologists date it to around 2500 BC, but some geologists point to startling erosion on its body. They see patterns of water erosion on its body. They see patterns of water erosion. suggesting the Sphinx could be much, much older, dating back to a time when Egypt had a much wetter climate. This theory is highly controversial. It would rewrite the timeline of ancient civilization. Then there are the legends of what lies beneath it. For centuries, myths have spoken of a hall of records, a hidden library beneath the Sphinx's paws, containing the lost history and wisdom of a forgotten age, perhaps even Atlantis. While this sounds like pure fantasy, modern science has given us some intriguing clues. Seismic surveys and ground-penetrating radar have detected anomalies and cavities in the bedrock beneath and around the Sphinx. Are these just natural fissures, or are they man-made chambers waiting to be opened? The Egyptian authorities have been hesitant to allow major excavations, leaving the mystery tantalizingly unsolved. So the Sphinx remains a silent witness, its gaze fixed on the eastern horizon. It has seen empires rise and fall, sands shift, invaders come and go. It has watched as explorers and archaeologists have poked and prodded at it, trying to force it to give up its secrets. But the Sphinx does not speak. It is the ultimate gatekeeper, a symbol of the profound, enduring mysteries that lie at the very heart of ancient Egypt. What secrets is it guarding? And will we ever be worthy of knowing them?
Of all the things that define ancient Egypt, nothing captures the imagination quite like a mummy. The intricate process of preserving a body for its journey into the afterlife is both fascinating and, honestly, a little bit creepy. But why did they go to such extreme lengths? For the ancient Egyptians, death wasn't an end, it was a transition. They believed that every person had a life force, Ka, and a soul, Ba, which would need to reunite with the physical body in the afterlife. To ensure this reunion, the body had to be recognizable and preserved. Mummification was not about creating a monster for a horror movie. It was a sacred act of ensuring eternal life. The process itself was a masterpiece of ancient science perfected over centuries. It was a gruesome 70-day ordeal. Priests would first remove the internal organs, the brain through the nose with a hook, lungs, liver, stomach, intestines. These were preserved separately in canopic jars. The heart, believed to be the center of intelligence and emotion, was usually left inside the body. The body was then packed in natron, a type of salt to completely dry it out. Finally, it was washed, anointed with oils wrapped in hundreds of yards of linen bandages, with magical amulets tucked within the folds to protect the deceased on their perilous journey. Of course, you can't talk about mummies without mentioning the curse. The legend really took off with the discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb in 1922. After Howard Carter and his sponsor, Lord Carnarvon, opened the tomb, a series of strange and unfortunate events occurred. Lord Carnarvon died from an infected mosquito bite just a few months later. Newspapers, hungry for a story, sensationalized his death and linked it to a curse protecting the boy king's eternal rest. While scientists have debunked the curse, explaining the deaths as coincidence or exposure to ancient molds, the legend endures. Today, science is giving us a whole new window into the lives of these ancient people. Using CT scans and DNA analysis, we can study mummies without ever unwrapping them. We can determine their age, their health, what diseases they suffered from, and even what their last meal was. Each mummy is a time capsule, a personal story from 3,000 years ago. They are not just artifacts, they were living, breathing people. For every tomb we've found, like the magnificent resting place of Tutankhamun, there are others that remain lost to the desert sands. These are the holy grails for modern archaeologists, the final resting places of some of Egypt's most famous and powerful figures. Perhaps the most sought after is the tomb of Cleopatra VII, the last pharaoh of Egypt. She chose to die by her own hand rather than be paraded through Rome as a captive. Ancient texts tell us she was buried with her great love, the Roman general Mark Antony. But the location of their tomb is one of history's greatest unsolved puzzles. Archaeologists have been searching for decades. Dr. Zahi Hawass, a giant in the field of Egyptology, has long believed the tomb is located near Tapizaris Magna, about 30 miles west of Alexandria. His team has uncovered a temple dedicated to Osiris, catacombs full of mummies facing the temple, coins bearing Cleopatra's image. They've used ground-penetrating radar to identify deep shafts and tunnels that could potentially lead to a burial chamber. It's not just Cleopatra. We have yet to find the tombs of many other key figures. Alexander the Great, who conquered Egypt and founded the city of Alexandria, said to have been buried in a golden sarcophagus, but its location has been lost to time. The brilliant and enigmatic Imhotep, the architect who designed the first pyramid and was later deified as a god of medicine. His tomb is believed to be hidden somewhere in the vast necropolis of Saqqara. Finding it would be like finding the personal records of Leonardo da Vinci and Hippocrates rolled into one. And then there are the secrets hidden within the tombs we've already found. For years, Egyptologist Nicholas Reeves has championed a compelling theory that Tutankhamun's famous tomb is actually just an antechamber to a much larger tomb. He believes that behind the painted walls of the burial chamber lies the true resting place of its original intended occupant, Queen Nefertiti. High-resolution scans of the walls have revealed faint lines that suggest the presence of sealed doorways. While subsequent scans have been inconclusive, the possibility remains. Could one of the most famous women in history be hiding in plain sight, just a few feet away from her famous stepson? The mystery is far from solved. The golden age of exploration in Egypt is not over. Not by a long shot. While the days of dynamite and treasure hunting are gone, a new era of discovery is dawning, driven by technology our predecessors could only dream of. We're using satellite imagery to spot undiscovered settlements from space, ground-penetrating radar to map what lies beneath the sand without digging, and cosmic ray mons to peer through solid stone. Every new tool gives us a new way to ask questions, a new angle from which to tackle these ancient riddles. The search is more sophisticated, more precise, and more exciting than ever before. Just in the last few years, discoveries have been rolling in. At Saqqara, archaeologists have unearthed hundreds of pristine, painted coffins in a series of deep burial shafts, many containing mummies that haven't seen the light of day in 2,500 years. They've also found workshops for mummification and caches of sacred animal mummies. Cats, crocodiles, lion cubs. Each find adds another piece to the puzzle of Egyptian society, their religious practices, and their daily lives. We are constantly rewriting the textbooks based on what is being pulled from the sand right now. This fusion of old-school archaeology and futuristic tech is the key to unlocking the next big secret. Think about the hidden void in the Great Pyramid or the possible doorways in Tutankhamun's tomb. These were revealed not by a shovel, but by physics and advanced imaging. The answers to the biggest questions: how the pyramids were built, Where Cleopatra is buried may come from a lab coat as much as from a dusty trench. It's a global effort, with teams from around the world bringing their expertise to the banks of the Nile. As we stand here today, we must remember that the story of ancient Egypt is a living one. The sands are still shifting, and with every gust of wind, a new clue might be revealed. What we know about history is not a fixed and final account. It is a dynamic story that can be transformed by a single discovery. The next tomb, the next papyrus, the next hidden chamber could hold the key to understanding a lost chapter of our own human story. The whispers of the past are growing louder, and for those of us who are willing to listen and to search, the greatest secrets of the pharaohs are still out there, waiting. The expedition is never truly over.